Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Probably, yeah. I've been bad on videos, but what can you say? I've been really busy trying to do other stuff at the same time. But we're here and we're doing, I wanted to talk about FIFA. And definitely Foot Champs, because Foot Champs recently, for me, has been very interesting. Like, it has been pretty much 50-50. So this weekend I won 14 and lost 14. So that's me playing 29 games overall. And I didn't play 30 because as I got to gold 3, I didn't bother playing all 30 games. But it was a bit interesting because a few weeks ago I was able to win at like 14 in like 7 games and lose 7 games. And I literally do not know for this, like for the last 2 weeks it's been the exact same. So last week it was 14 and 14, and the week before I think I won that, got to gold 3 in like 25 games. I got to gold 14. So it was a bit of for the last 2 weeks it's been a bit 50-50, and like for me right now, I have not got this team 100%. I want to try to focus on trying to get a few other players that I really want to get. And when it does go to 100%, I don't know for myself if it's going to be better or it's going to get worse. But you never know until you get it. But right now it's just trying to get everything together and then go out for a good strong weekend league. For me right now, this was the team that I'm going with. This was the team that I went with through FIFA Weekend League. I did have Harry Kane more up front, and also at the very beginning I did have a 4-1-2-1-2, but obviously that didn't work out as I needed much more midfielders, so I decided to go for a 4-3-3 with Dennis Bergkamp up front because I want to try and get the wingers involved more. And that's basically what happened with Dennis Bergkamp playing up top. Even though they've pretty much got the same passing all round, Dennis Bergkamp's dribbling is way better and he's a lot quicker. That's what I went for with Dennis Bergkamp, which is a bit more pace. And to be fair, Harry Kane did what he does best, score goals, as he's reached 400 goals in 386 games and 248 assists. So that's pretty good, to be fair. Like, he has been fantastic. I don't think I've really found a much more better striker than Harry Kane. But the way I'm thinking of more of the future, I will use Harry Kane more of the future. Harry Kane, for me, has been 10 times better than Dennis Bergkamp. But Dennis Bergkamp, for one, is a legend, and you've got to use your legends. That's the main thing that you've got to be going for, is your legends. And for me, I will use Kane more often because he is, again, like I said, an insane player. But when you've got like these traits and everything and all that stuff, you kind of got to go with for your legends. And to be fair, he wasn't bad. But he could have been way more better. And that was my problem with FIFA. A lot of players did not step up to the opportunity until they wanted to. Nick Pope, for me, best goalkeeper I've had so far. A lot of iffy moments, but comparing those iffy moments to world-class saves, he made more world-class saves than he did iffy chances. So he was pretty good there. And defence was 50-50. It was very 50-50. I started off with Foyth, then I had to get Laporte because Laporte is just way better than Foyth. And with the way it was going, it was very weird. It was very weird. And even at the very start, Friday I started, I don't know what it was. I literally could not win a single game. But I did win 3 games in 10 games. I won 3 games in 10 games. And I think I had 7 losses at the time. And I did very well to get those losses to a wins. I did very fucking well because I literally put on to a next level on Saturday and just kept on winning. And then I got to 2 games left, I think it was, and I just decided, you know what, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to revisit this on Sunday and then try go for it in the Sunday. And first game I played on a Sunday, instantly got the win. So that was a good win, to be fair. And it was a good win because a lot of teams I was going against were like Kenny Dalglish, like sort of Ronaldo, Kante, Team Dia Kante, and all that stuff. And I had to really pull something out of the bag just to be able to like get a goal. And passing wise, even passing, like there was a lot of things wrong with the game that I did not realise at first with the likes of FUT Champs and the way that the game was going. And it was mainly straight down to passing. Passing for me was just all over the place and it didn't feel right at all. The likes of Dele Alli, few moments he would pack, like the games I played, the games that I won, Dele Alli was crucial for that. He was the main reason why I managed to get so many goals, why I was getting so many assists, why I was getting a lot of things done. And he was the main reason. It was basically him, and it was like the passing was on point, everything was on point, you wouldn't make a single mistake. Like a lot of games I was getting like 25 out of 25 passes completed with the likes of my midfielders. I did have Inform Gundogan, and Inform Gundogan was the exact same. He was doing everything with the likes of Dele Alli. But the way that the market is right now, I had to sell him. I sold him for like a literally plus 5k profit, which was quite good. But the way the market is right now, a lot of players are going very, very downhill. So I literally sold him, got my money back, and then plus a bit more money, to be fair, and then went on to win with lots of Bruno Fernandes, which was a good replacement because he was the only player in the starting 11 who had a leadership trait, and your team plays way better with the leadership trait. Just saying that now, it feels a lot more better, it feels a lot more composed, and you get a lot more stuff done. With this as well, like sort of defending like at the very beginning, 4-1-2-1-2. Defending was very 50-50, as a lot of the time I was going against people who were using like 5 in the middle, and for me using like one CDM, one central attacking midfielder, and a left mid and a right mid, you basically got 4 players there. Because the right mid and left mid were so far apart, it was not working. So I decided, you know what, I'll change the formation to a 4-3-3 with a CDM and see how that goes. And that basically sorted out, that made it work slightly, but it wasn't to the point where it was fantastic. And it really did, it just worked, and I was pretty happy with that. But the one thing that was letting me down the most was Fabinho. I don't know what it was about this guy. He just wasn't on form. I literally had a shadow on him. His passing was a bit all over the place, even though he's got good passing, to be fair to him. And he was not as I expected him to be. He was like, I remember him being a much more better CDM, but for some reason that was not the case. But during the game, I would swap him with Thorsby, and Thorsby, what a fucking player. Absolute unit if you want to get good headers and good tackles done, because he was just fantastic. His defending, his physicality, his passing, his pace, he was just so much more better. And you look at the stats and everything, he is way better than Fabinho. So that was the main reason why I had Thorsby playing in a much more CDM role. For it, he did fantastic. His finishing might not be that great, but he was still an absolute unit of a player, and his jumping and his stamina was working so well with the way I wanted to go for it. And his heading accuracy, 99, literally scored a header with the likes of Trent being a fantastic crosser on the game. His crossing was just very, very good, and it made most of the difference. The way it's going with the likes of that as well, the substitutions would normally be either Thorsby, Kane, or Bernardo Silva. These were the main 3 I would focus on. If Dennis Bergkamp wasn't working, Kane would definitely come on. I did have Carrera and all that stuff that I could possibly put on, but the way that was playing and the way that he felt, he definitely was. I think he would benefit more as being a starting 11 player than an actual bench player, because you got these players who could be a really, really good bench player, but they won't be a fantastic like starting 11 player, or you got these really good players who be very, very good as a starting 11 player. And yeah, that was my whole idea with it. But when the new season starts, I will use them a lot more. As you can see, 4 games played, 1 goal scored, 2 assists. I will use them a lot more. when the new season starts, because obviously with the new season you get the whole icon swaps and everything, and that's basically what I'm going to be doing, is the icon swaps. So with that, it was not that half bad, and a lot of times where like the passing was off or this was off, there was a lot of negatives than there were positives, but there was a few positives out of the negatives that I could mention, and that was basically the wingers. The wingers made pretty much most of the difference, with likes of Trossard being in the team now. He was pretty much fantastic. He was doing a lot for my team, and the likes of Bergwijn as well. A lot of positives from Bergwijn. But when putting it into like this, when looking at it all and everything, comparing him to Bernardo Silva for me is a much more better striker than he is a right winger. That's the difference between Bergwijn and Bernardo Silva. Bergwijn's got the pace, but Bernardo Silva's got the dribbling and the passing. And it was like, the thing about Bergwijn as well is his 5-star weak foot. His 5-star weak foot makes a hell of a difference, and that's why I'm playing Bergwijn at the moment a lot more than I am with Bernardo Silva. But with the way the 5-star weak foot helps so much is down to his finishing. Finishing really gives him everything, and his free kick accuracy as well. His free kick accuracy is 84, but his shot power is 95. And I seem to find that if you've got a player with tons of shot power and decent free kicks, then you've got it sorted. That's what I was basically using likes of Harry Kane as a free kick taker, because his free kicks weren't as brilliant, but his shot power was the main thing that made it work. And his shot power was I think it's like 98 or something, or even 99, and like honestly his shot power was just making most of the difference. I'm quite tempted to use Bernardo Silva again for another weekend, see how he does, but with the way he was playing as more of a bench player, and has coming on as a bench player to a centre mid role, he was playing way much better as that. So the way I'd normally go for it is putting Bernardo Silva in for the Bruno Fernandes, and this will be pretty much the way it was looking. And with lots of Thor speed as well, it'll be like that. So that was the whole like team. This was the team's peak of how it could have got. And if I wanted, I could have put Ryan Kent on and put Ryan Kent on that left wing, just add way more pace. The difference between Trossard and Ryan Kent is Trossard's got just way better stats. Physicality, defending, both of them got the same passing and dribbling, but shooting way better. But again, Kent is just way faster. So putting more pace on that left side could, well, 100% made a bit of a difference. But the way it was playing with likes of Trossard was just too good to replace. And in 39 games, 18 goals scored, 10 assists, compared to Kent's 161 games played, 59 goals scored and 34 assists. So it was very, like, they're very similar players, but one quicker and one slower. Bruno Fernandes, 20 games played, 6 goals scored, 3 assists, and likes of Harry Kane, good bench player, would do a lot. So with likes of that, yeah, pretty positive all round, and likes of how Bernardo Silva was playing. 312 games played, 128 goals scored and 16 assists. That was pretty good. And lots of Bergkamp as well, 98 games played, 52 goals scored and 56 assists. Pretty decent. The one thing about Bergkamp reminds me a lot of Maddison. I don't know if anyone else gets that, but he reminds me a lot of Maddison. So that is pretty much this team, and the way that I'm gonna go forward with it is obviously playing more of a 4-3-3. But the problem with playing with this formation as a 4-3-3, it does leave a huge gap between the CDM to the striker. That was the one thing I literally had problems with, was getting the ball from the CDM spot to the striker. Now, for the way that I played it, the way I had to go through it was playing through the channels. So going through likes of Trossard, going through likes of Bergwijn, and going through likes of Dele Alli and likes of Bruno Fernandes when he was playing. That was how I was doing it, and it did work. It did work a lot of the times. But when I was playing, a lot of people would change the formation to a 4-2-3-1, and that really annoyed me, because the way that the 4-2-3-1 is built around is going against teams like this. This was my, like, the way that this formation was, it was a positive, but it was also my kryptonite. And the way that the 4-3-2-1 was going, it was more of literally the two CDMs would block out the right centre mid and the left centre mid, but it was also block out my striker. So I had a lot of times when playing, I had to play through my right backs and my left backs just to get up those channels, and that really annoyed me. So a lot of times what I had to do was play Dennis Bergkamp more as a false 9. Instead of playing as a full-on out-and-out striker, it was more of a centre forward, and that was the way I had to go through it, playing this formation more like this. This was basically how it was going, and it did work, and most of the time it did work, but a lot of time it was very 50-50. It was a lot of things could have gone wrong. Trying to get it to him in the first place was a task in itself, just trying to play this formation, and it was basically straight down to those CDMs making most of the work for the other people. It was that whole spot was making it everything for the other person to simply go, oh, he's going to do that, okay, I'm going to put my both CDMs here, and I'm just going to be like, that's going to be the game throughout the whole, that's going to be what it is throughout the whole game. So trying to get around that was very difficult, and a lot of times I had to simply just bring up my centre attacking midfielder or centre mid and just go up the pitch, pretty much bring the ball with me, and it worked. A lot of times it did work, and it was going straight to the likes of Bergkamp, it was going straight to the likes of Bergwijn, and it was going straight up to the likes of Trossard. That was the way I was going for it, and it worked. And the likes of putting Thorsby on as well, just add that more better passing, did the exact same thing as well. It was adding a bit more passing to the CDM spot made a heck of a difference, and it was just working. Likes of Bernardo Silva at left centre mid, his pace just made most of the difference, and it made most of the CDMs work for more on Bernardo Silva because he had that 90 pace and that 96 dribbling, just to simply just go bombing up the pitch, and the CDMs would have to work twice as hard to try to stop a player like Bernardo Silva. And the way that they're going with like Bruno Fernandes, as I might not have a humongously quick attack, centre attacking midfielder or CDM or whatnot, this is why I had to use Bernardo Bernardo Silva as more of a centre mid than an actual like starting 11 player, because he was going to make more difference as a bench player than he was as a striker, like as a starting 11 player, playing more of a striker. At some point I did actually change formation to more of a 4-2-3-1, or a lot of people kind of go for like a 4-3-3. This was how it basically was going, and a lot of times it was working. Like there was a lot of positives going through this one. This was like an old formation that I was going with, and it was working attack wise, because it would like the CDMs would have to work twice as more trying to stop Bergwijn and Trossard getting on the ball, as it was more central. But because of the CDM spot, because of Fabinho, it was literally not working for Fabinho, so I had to simply change formation back to a 4-3-3 with a CDM where he could simply sit. For this as well, like I think the one player that really would have suited for this was Jordan Henderson, but because I really needed a player like Bergwijn, I had to sacrifice Jordan Henderson for it, so it sucks. But maybe Jordan Henderson would have made more of a difference in this formation, and definitely him playing would be probably like the go-to thing. So yeah, 100%. But the way I think for this team, I like rating it out of 10, I would say probably a 6 out of 10. A 6 out of 10 at most. And it, like, a lot of times it was mainly the faults of the centre mids, and I think in the near future I will play more of a 4-3-3 with the centre attacker midfielder, and see if I can get likes of Tielemans, the Belgian beast himself, his 88, which would be an absolute unit for this team. I think that would be fantastic, and I think as well probably a much more like quicker midfielder. So I was going to get Fred out of the squad, basically the season he was a season player, but unfortunately I just could not get my grips on it, and I think I'm like 16,000 points away so I was very close to getting him, but it was just too late. So with that, the way I think I'm going to go with this right now is try get Tallyman. It'll probably be a few weeks of just grinding out division rivals. I don't know. I think he's going for I think it'll probably be 2 or 3 weeks grinding out division rivals, getting the coins for that, and then using those coins to get somebody like Tallyman's, and then maybe another centre mid. And depending on what you get in the team of the season stuff, there's a lot of players who could probably go out and get that would do this team so much more work. And I'll probably need to get another better left back. I definitely need to get a better left back. I probably need to look into other leagues that might benefit having just a better left back in that league. But right now it's hard to find a good other left back, because I did have Tagliafico at left back, but he was just not working for me. I don't know what it was. I did have I think a catalyst on him, and he was not working. I don't know what it was, but he was just not working for me. So I didn't go for that team anymore. And I don't it's hard to really link up this team now with the likes of Trossard playing left forward or left winger, and everything else. Because if I had Bergkamp staying in the central attacking midfield, it might be a lot easier keeping that going. But the way it is now, I don't really think it is the case. So I definitely need to really look into what I can find, and see if I can find maybe a cheap beast that would work really well into this team. And maybe I might need to get Sissoko back in. I think Sissoko might be a good shout to look into. Ndombele might be a good shout to look into. Some of the cheap beasts that would probably work a lot. And maybe I need to try find maybe I need to get those players back in and see if those players work, which could possibly be the answer to. So with this weekend league, a lot of negatives, but there were some positives, and you can only work on the negatives right now. And the negatives, I think the one thing I'm going to have to try and do is find a way to find, maybe it's a formation thing, maybe it's just a player thing, where I can simply just have a player in the middle or a player on the sides that would just simply just do some of the work like Dele Alli. I need to find another player like Dele Alli's 88. That's what I need to find, and I've been mentioning it for a long time. I need to find another Dele Alli, because imagine this Dele Alli with the 87 Dele Alli in CDM. That would work so much, and the attacking and the passing and the whole thing would just fit perfectly. But it sucks that in I don't know what it is, but it literally it sucks that his defending isn't 80. I wish his defending was 80, because he'll be sorted. I wouldn't have to worry so much on him defending. But it's still decent defending, to be fair. It's still pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's fantastic, but it's pretty decent. So yeah, it is what it is. But I think what I need to definitely get is maybe a player like Tallyman's, a player like maybe Ndidi or Fred, or Kovac. Oh man, if I had bloody Kovac and Fred in the middle, you'd be pretty much sorted. And with Dele Alli, you'd be absolutely sorted there. But yeah, it is a bit of a miss, but what can you do? And I think right now there's other players I will probably look into, be actually he would probably work really well in this team. That player would probably work really well in that team. So yeah, definitely need to look into them. But at the moment, for this weekend, definitely need to look into changing the formation, looking into maybe having Bergkamp and Harry Kane up front. Maybe play a 4-2-4 and have Dele Alli and somebody else working between both of them, making most of the difference. So let me know down in the comments below what you think, and yeah, see you next time.